Hello and welcome back. I'm Jessica Cha.
And I'm Taylor Sadusky.
You know, I love this weather. It's so warm and toasty outside with the sun beating down on all of us.
Jessica, you must have not slept that much last night because it's actually really cold outside and snowing. As a native, I'm still not going to lie, I'm not a fan.
Well, we could go back and forth on this all day, but Thanksgiving break is just around the corner, and the sooner we get the show on the road, the sooner we can eat some food.
You're right. We should jump into what really matters here, your weekly insight on all things CU sports on here, Buff Sports Live. To start our show today, we have our men's Buffs basketball. They tore up the court this last week. First, last Saturday, the Buffs beat San Diego Toros 71-53. It was mainly their defense that led the Buffs to victory on this one. An 18-0 run from the offense late in the game sealed the deal, and the Buffs improved 2-0 on the season. Deshaun Swartz really was feeling his rhythm, gaining 15 points in the second half. Henry Dismay was there to tell us how it all happened. Take a look.
Here at the CU Event Center today, we saw an ugly win with CU. At the beginning of the first half, saw that had some great steals, great made baskets, but as the half progressed on, just the field goal percentage started to go down, the three-point percentage started to go down. Everything just started to go downhill. And as the second half started, offensive boards went up, everything started to be really good. And then Schwartz really made a great impact today. He made 15 points just in the second half alone, and three-point percentage went up to 47%, and that really contributed to a great win over San Diego today.
After that game against San Diego, the basketball team moved up in the rankings when they announced the AP poll. CU moved up from 25 to 23, the third highest of any Pac-12 school. The basketball team hasn't ranked in a few years and only about 40 times in the history of the AP poll. The first time the Buffs play a ranked opponent will be December 7th against number 4, Kansas. Lucky for us, there was more men's basketball news this week. Monday night, the Buffs rolled over UC Irvine 69-53. This time they worked both ends of the court, making this their best showing all year, offensively and defensively. So far, an amazing start for our Buffs, still 3-0 and ranked 23 in the country. Taylor Sadusky was at that game and has a story for you. Take a look.
CU had a great win tonight at the CU Event Center taking on UC Irvine, finishing 69-53, taking them to 3-0 on the season. Tab Boyle even mentioned in the press conference following San Diego that's going to be a tough battle for their team defensively and offensively. We saw great strides both with Tyler Bay and McKinley Wright as they led the team in points. This was a great turnout for the Buffs defensively, and they continue on the road to take on the Cowboys in Las Vegas.
But the men certainly weren't the only ones who started off their season strong. Our women's basketball team improved to 3-0 last Sunday, beating the Wyoming Cowgirls 66-56. After a very slow start, the Buffs picked it up on the start of the second quarter. From there, they kept their lead strong, at one point winning by 14 points. Maya Hollingshed led the team with 17 points, and 3 other women reached double digits. Overall, a fantastic start for our Buffs basketball season.
The volleyball team has a busy week ahead of them as they'll kick things off by hosting Cal tonight at the Coors Event Center. That match starts at 7 and the Golden Bears are ranked 24 in the nation, so this is certainly a big game. On Sunday, the Buffs have an even tougher matchup hosting the number 4 ranked Stanford Cardinals. In order to be eligible for the postseason game, Colorado will have to win all 4 of their remaining games, which is certainly looking like it'll be tough.
It is such an exciting time to be a CU basketball fan, as the Buffs ranking this season are the first time since the 2014 that the team has appeared in the AP Top 25. So this week's trivia question, we are going to dig deep into basketball history. We are asking you, what is the highest that CU has ever been ranked in the AP poll? Find out later on in the show. We're coming up on a quick break here, but tune back in for some more news on the women's soccer team and much more.
Wow, and you don't want to miss it. Stay tuned, Buffs fans, and don't go anywhere.
Please record in Mike and Q Talent in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Mic up on 2. All right, take 1. And fade camera 2. Take 3. Ready, red. Roll red. Take cam 1. Take red. Take it. Come on, roll red. Let's go. All right.
Hey, what are you doing?
I'm just calling the show.
There's no show.
The UNC Bears were absolutely smashed at the NCAA Women's Soccer Tournament this past Saturday by the Buffs women's soccer team. Now, I'm from good old Greeley, but I have to say that the 6-0 win over Northern Colorado definitely has me proud to be a Buff. Senior Taylor Korniak led the team to glory with an assist in the first half that marked her 100th career point, becoming the first CU player to hit that benchmark. A big congrats to her. Head coach Danny Sanchez spoke after the game.
Second, then, as far as the match, I thought we played very well. It was credit to Northern Colorado. They came out with a game plan and made it very difficult for us early. And at halftime, it was 2-0, those 2 shots on goal. So I think we were maybe a little fortunate to be there, and they had some really good opportunities on the counter. I think the key to the match, obviously, was getting that early goal in the second half, and that kind of opened the game up for us a little bit. So we're very pleased with the result. We're pleased with how we performed. We want to congratulate Northern Colorado on a great season and winning the Big Sky and advancing the NCAA tournament. But obviously, we're pleased for our group an opportunity to advance to next weekend.
Our soccer Buffs are playing right now the second round of the NCAA tournament.
What is
and that's
going
right,
on,
the game
Buffs?
started right now at Ford. So make sure to be checking on the score of that one. After you finish watching BuffSports Live, of course, they are playing the University of North Carolina, the top seed in the tournament. But they're optimistic after scoring 6 goals against Northern Colorado last game. So after crushing UNC, the Buffs are ready to take on UNC, and next time it's one from the East Coast.
You can all see some Buffs run at the Indiana State Laverne Gibson Championship cross-country course tomorrow. This will be the 11th year that CU will send both men's and women's teams to compete in the NCAA Championship. The teams will have no problem staying awake as the races begin at 9:15 a.m. in the freezing cold. But our men's team, ranked 2nd in the country, and the women's ranked 10th, will bring the heat as they have a good season thus far.
Our Buffs are fighting for bowl eligibility as they host the Washington Huskies tomorrow at 8 p.m. Unfortunately, the Buffs have never beaten the Huskies during a conference play since 2011 when they joined the Pac-12. Any hopes the Buffs have towards reaching the bowl game rests on pulling upsets on Washington this week and Utah the following week. Consistent players such as Tony Brown are crucial for the success in this game due to his multiple catches in each game. Brown has a total of 656 yards and 5 rushing touchdowns. Even though the Huskies are having a disappointing year, Mel Tucker and his team have to hustle both offensively and defensively to secure a win in hopes of becoming bowl eligible.
Thanks, Taylor. That's some good information. Let's hope the boys can do it. In other news, though, we have a reoccurring segment I'm sure you're all familiar with, Buff Banter, with our very own Drew Turnquist.
What is going on, Buffs? My name is Drew Tornquist, and no, I am not a new guy. I actually usually sit back there in the studio. But I've got something I've been itching to talk about for a while now. So it's the end of the football season, and we know the Buffs' record, but how did they look this season? That's right, I may not look that good, but ironically, I am talking uniforms today. So in terms of the Pac-12, CU ranked pretty well. My ranking actually has the UCLA Bruins taking the reins at number 1. Look at those powder blues and the gold. What a classic look. Really one of the best in the Pac-12. Second place, we have Washington. They updated their number font this year, and it was a big improvement. It was much more simple. Purple on gold looks really smooth, and it pairs nicely with the simple and bold W logo. Third, we've got the classic USC. Never change your uniforms, USC. Those are just one of the college football favorites. And in fourth, we have the black and gold themselves, the Colorado Buffaloes. Matching helmet and pants looks great, especially when the color is gold. Can you tell I like gold? Gold is great. So rounding out the top 5 is Utah. Some people love these uniforms. I'm not that interested in how the round logo looks with the black shoulder yokes, but the simple red and white stripes make for a combination just worthy of the top 5 in the Pac-12. So who looks the worst? Well, here's my bottom 3 on the rankings. So first up is Oregon State. My advice, stay away from monocolored. Are these football uniforms, or are these some sort of surfers wearing wetsuits? Switch up the socks or the pants, and that'll give Oregon State just some more character. So unpopular opinion at 11, it's Oregon. The pioneers of the alternate uniform, they just can't get it right. This mono green is just the worst of Oregon's many mono morph suit looks. Call me when they bring back the ones from a few years ago that made them look like actual ducks. Those were awesome. And in 12th is Arizona, who has a color problem. They need to decide red or blue. You know, which one's the primary? I don't know. And red numbers, they have no contrast on those boring navy jerseys. Give those numbers a drop shadow or something. But let's be real, college football is the home for all the alternate uniforms these days. Everybody wants to be as consistently inconsistent as Oregon. So for the best alternate this season was Utah with the faux backs. A great color combo mixed with a classic, clean-looking number font and a UU logo that reminds us of simpler times. Honorable mention for Arizona State's alternates. Love the Arizona flag on the sleeve with the white. Looks super nice. So Washington State and Oregon State, they showed us some of the worst alternates. Oregon State, they went overboard with the orange diver look. And Washington State, the gray, it's just too bland. Try colors, you know, they're fun, and so is football. And so the Buffs, to close it out, their worst look reminds me of Washington State's alternate. Oof, gray and black, ugly, or maybe just a true throwback, you know, to the days of noir and black and white cinema. But what we all love is the classic gold and black look. Sometimes, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. This set has a great contrast, it isn't too busy, and it stays out unique with its awesome number font. So that's all for me talking up here. Back to the anchors. Hope you guys are dressed well enough to carry this show on.
Taylor, here we are again taking yet another break. Well, we still have so much left to cover.
You got that right. From that interview with Chancellor Phil DeStefano to one of the hottest segments in the books of Buff Sports Live. You do not want to miss it.
An artist, I'm not, but I am the voice of the Buffs, Mark Johnson, and you're watching Buff Sports Live.
With the new exciting rules passed by the NCAA, there's a lot of buzz in college sports. Vinay Simlot spoke to our chancellor to find out some more.
Earlier this year, the state of California passed a law to let college athletes profit off of their names, images, and likeness. Since then, the NCAA has approved a proposal that would do the same thing. Our Chancellor, Phil DeStefano, was part of that group that approved the plan, so we thought he'd be the perfect person to ask about it.
Well, my hope is that we come together, the NCAA as well as the various conferences in Division I, and that we are treating our student athletes fairly when it comes to this issue of name, image, and likeness. And what I mean by treating our athletes fairly is that they're students first. And right now, we have students who come to the University of Colorado who have started companies. They're being very entrepreneurial. We allow them to do that, but we still want to be fair and take a look at how can we treat them, how can we treat student athletes fairly and give them some opportunities just like we give all other students.
But Chancellor DeStefano feels those new opportunities won't make much of an impact on college sports, with just a few students able to take advantage.
I believe it'll be a small number. I believe it'll definitely affect every major university, especially in the Power Five like we're in. The numbers will be small, but even with those numbers small, I think you can, predict that there will be some issues that will be raised by other players, by the community, by the school. So those are things that we just have to take into account and try to work out.
Do you think once this change is made, 5 or 10 years down the road, maybe universities will start paying athletes? Do you see it moving on that way?
If you think about it, we are paying student athletes. If you think about our student athletes, especially those from out of state, but also in state, there's tuition, their fees, living expenses, room and board, nutrition for an out-of-state athlete, and no matter what sport, that individual is probably getting about $50,000 of benefits each year. So in a way, we are paying student athletes.
You don't think it'll change much in terms of how much they're compensated by the university?
I don't think so. I really don't think so. And one of the things that I don't believe we should ever move into is where our student athletes are seen as employees of the university. It takes away from their students, and we really have to emphasize that. We want to treat them fairly. We want to make sure that they have experience like all of our students, whether it's internships or study abroad, really doing what other students do as well as playing a sport.
The Chancellor says the key to all of these changes is making sure student athletes stay amateurs. He says despite all of the money involved, universities and players need to recognize that student athletes are students first. But that may be a problem for the superstars who have their sights set on the pros.
The solution, in my mind, is to allow high school students who, when they graduate from high school, if they really feel that a professional career in athletics is their goal, and is there a way that they can bypass college sports? In basketball, the NCAA is certainly working with the NBA on the one and done, and it just doesn't make sense to bring in a student who's going to be at the university for less than a year so that he can then go to the NBA. When we recruit student athletes, as you know, such a small percentage of our student athletes go into the pros. Our job is to make sure that they get a degree, that they have similar experiences to the rest of our student body, and that they leave here, even if they do go into the pros for 3 to 5 years or whatever number of years, that they can always fall back on a University of Colorado degree. That's my number one goal.
The NCAA put together a working group that'll figure out most of the details of these plans. Now, one of the people that's on this working group is Rick George, our athletic director. So guys, lots of involvement from CU on these new rules.
We are so close to Thanksgiving, it's almost like I can taste it, Taylor.
You're gonna have to put those taste buds on hold, Jessica. We still have a show to do, girl.
You're right. I'll try to focus. We have our last break coming up, guys, with a lot more to look forward to.
Definitely. The answer to that trivia question, tweet of the week in rapid fire with Zoe Paulson. You do not want to miss it, Buffs. Stay tuned.
They were nervous and inexperienced, as new faces looking to achieve greatness. As the years went on, they grew confident in their abilities.
Maybe. Yes, sir!
Now they look to guide others in the same pursuit.
There it is! Can you believe it?
All are welcome to be featured on the biggest stage.
Is it his time?
We invite you to discover what you're capable of at BuffSports Live.
This deserves a second look. Michael taking off, the patented tongue comes out. Just in front of that line. Look at this, the double clutch, the reach out.
Pass on left wing, looks behind him, wide open, right wing, up top, open for three, fires.
That's really good basketball, Mark. Unselfish, smart basketball.
Open for three, fires, nothing but nylon from downtown. Good ball move by Colorado.
Hey everyone, it's Zoe Paulson back again with Rapid Fire. We've got some really fun stuff happening this week, so get excited, Buff fans. First of all, we've got the women's soccer game going on right now against UNC Chapel Hill. This is the second round of the tournament, so it's a big deal for the Buffs to get this win. Also tonight at 5 o'clock, our women's basketball team is going to roll into Fort Collins for a matchup against the CSU Rams. If you can't catch that one, they'll have another game on Sunday at 6 p.m. at home against Jacksonville. Still can't catch that one? Don't worry, there's another game on Tuesday versus Indiana State. It should be an exciting week for the women's basketball team. As for tomorrow, the cross-country Buffs are competing in the NCAA championships. They've been on a roll this year, so we are looking forward to an exciting race for the men and women. Tomorrow night is also senior night and the last home game for the football team. In this high-stakes game, the Buffs hope to beat Washington, and it should be a very fun game. Everyone watching at home can catch that one on ESPN at 8 p.m. And that's all I've got for Rapid Fire today. Have a happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Back to you guys.
This is turning into a complete thrill ride. First, rapid fire, now the answer to the trivia question? I don't know if I can handle all this excitement.
Well, Jessica, you gotta control yourself a little bit longer. You know, we still have to get that answer for the audience as well.
I guess you're right. Earlier we asked you what was the highest CU basketball has been ranked in the AP poll. The answer is number 7, all the way back in 1963. Hopefully, if the team keeps winning, they'll get back up there soon.
Interesting. Now we got our tweet of the week for you all. Despite being the men's basketball opponent this weekend, we had to give a shout out to the Wyoming account this week.
At Wyo Nation blog said, question, what's the difference between the Colorado State football team and a dollar bill? A dollar bill is good for 4 quarters. That's a good one.
Looks like may be able to agree on this one with Wyoming. Boo CSU. Well, Jessica, I don't know about you, but I am so ready for break. It's about time. Any plans for your break coming up?
Me too. And yes, I was gonna relax with my boyfriend. His name is Homework, and we're in a loving relationship.
Thanksgiving in my house goes crazy. A big Italian-style Thanksgiving, you can't get better than that. Am I right?
Well, yes, you're right. Well, Buffs fans, we hope you also enjoy your fall break and stuff your face with enough turkey and pumpkin pie to go around. And vegans, you do you.
Definitely. As well as don't forget to go out and support your Buffs. I'm Taylor Stedesky.
And I'm Jessica Cha. And we will see you all next time.